Hello, my name is Aeman Malik and welcome to another episode of This Week in Digital Rights. On Monday, the world saw an outage as Facebook and its family apps, including Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus, became inaccessible for billions of users for almost 7 hours. The apps were portraying error messages before Facebook disappeared from the internet entirely and only flickered back to life several hours later. The inaccessibility of these communication platforms showed just how dependent the world has become on a company that is under intense scrutiny in reference to the Facebook files. That uncovered the impact of Facebook and its apps on the mental health of its users and the company's complete indifference towards it despite multiple alarms. A professor of communication at Cornell University said, "Today's outage brought our reliance on Facebook and its properties like WhatsApp and Instagram into sharp relief. The abruptness of today's outage highlights the staggering level of precarity that structures our increasingly digitally mediated work economy." The impacts were far reaching as a lot of businesses rely entirely on Facebook. People depend on it for communication, especially in global contexts, and many use it to sign into other apps and services, leading to an unexpected domino effect, such as inability to sign into smart TVs or shopping websites. Mark, a startup founder in Ireland who uses Facebook and Instagram to reach customers, said, "With Facebook being down, we're losing thousands in sales. It may not sound like a lot to others, but missing out on 4 or 5 hours of sales could be the difference between paying the electricity bill or rent for the month." During the outage, users flocked to Twitter, which provoked an opportunity for some fun over the social media giant's predicament. The hashtag #FacebookDown was trending and memes about the incident proliferated. As for the culprit, Facebook blamed an internal technical issue which not only affected Facebook services but reportedly also employees' work passes and emails. Allegedly, there was no evidence that user data was compromised, but in a statement, Facebook said that the faulty configuration change affected the company's internal tools and systems, which complicated attempts to resolve the problem. The Facebook company memo also said that outage was a high risk to the people, moderate risk to assets, and a high risk to the reputation of Facebook. According to Forbes, Facebook lost about $65 million during the hours-long outage. The outage took a bigger hit on the CEO Mark Zuckerberg's personal figures, whose fortune declined by $5.9 billion. Moving on, a recently published article on Vice went into detail on how hackers had years of unauthorized access to a company routing billions of text messages. Syniverse, a company used by AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and several others around the world to promote SMS services exchange to their customers, quietly disclosed that the hackers were inside its system for years, impacting more than 200 of its clients and potentially millions of cell phone users worldwide. Syniverse did not give any specific answers about the scale of the breach and what specific data was affected, but according to a telephone carrier worker, the hacker could have had access to metadata such as length and cost, caller and receiver's numbers, the location of the parties in the calls, as well as the content of SMS text messages. To give further perspective to Syniverse's importance, it is one of the largest cell phone infrastructure companies in the world, routing text messages between different carriers both in the USA and abroad. It also manages routing and international roaming between networks. The company wrote that it discovered the breach in May of 2021, but that the hack began in May of 2016. Karsten Knoll, a security researcher, told Motherboard, "Syniverse has access to the communication of hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people around the world. A 5-year breach of one of Syniverse's main systems is a global privacy disaster." In other news, Ray-Ban stories. A design collaboration between Facebook and Ray-Ban's parent company are smart sunglasses with speakers and cameras, which can serve as a casual substitute for your headphones or a phone camera. Previously, overt recording of people in public spaces was not as common as it could be because it involved pointing a camera at someone, but it just became a lot more easier with the new mainstream tool by Facebook and Ray-Ban to secretly surveil people. These glasses can take first-person photos and 30-second video clips with a quick tap of a button or vocal command. Oh, and you need a Facebook account to use them. Facebook also collects data from the glasses, but of course with no means to funnel you into the platform. There's also no obvious indication that the glasses are recording beyond a tiny white LED light that you can't see from a distance in daylight. Ireland's Data Protection Commission has even called on Facebook to demonstrate that this light is an effective way of notifying bystanders. Well, it's not. These smart glasses look identical to standard Ray-Bans except for the tiny camera circles on them. Ultimately, it is left up to the user to be a responsible photographer and not use them for infringement or offense. As the MIT Technology Review points out, that kind of trust is naive at best and insidious at worst. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.